Welcome to the final part of the Rhea Warlock, the Demon Warlock time-lapse video series. Here I started by filling in the shape of the character. I used the magic wand tool and then had to go in and clean up some of the edges. Once I have that, I can start establishing a little bit of a alternative background tone. Wanted it to be like darker with a bit of a spotlight at her feet. Very abstract. She's not actually standing in any kind of environment. Just a character for this one. And here I am separating out the shapes within the character, making a layer for the clothing and then the metallic bits, the horns, the hair. I'll use the selection tool to make a big shape, but then I'll often refine the edges with a brush. Sometimes I'm quite picky with the edge control for the shapes. They're not always totally sharp, so I often like to use the brush to paint them in. It's very situational. Whatever's faster and looks better. There you can see I feathered off the shape. So even if I change her hair color, it'll still blend into the forehead properly. For the cast shadow, I just did a very simple common trick where you take the total shape of the character and compress it onto the ground. It does a reasonably good job of giving you a cast shadow, but I blurred it out and altered it a bit. Using some big soft brushes on the skin to try to establish some basic tones of highlights and shadows. I tend to paint in the shape roughly and then carefully blend it out the way I want. Put all the nails and horns and hoofs on one layer. I added some big soft highlights using white with an overlay layer. Gotta be subtle with that. I think the opacity was down to 40% or something. And then on top of that, another overlay layer with the final hatching highlights that I like to do. Try to pick out some of the scales and the core highlight. I find it kind of matches the hatching I do in the line layer, which is why I like to do it on top. Here I'm adding in, she's got some ritual scarring on her legs and belly. It's kind of like barbed wire or vines or something. Try to give it a little dimensionality by like picking out the lower edges that might catch some light from above. And then added a big core highlight to her legs. kept her eyes yellow for most of this, but I think towards the end I'll change them to a more natural white with red irises. My eye was just getting hung up on the yellow eyes, and wasn't quite working. Here I'm blocking in I guess you'd call them like the fingers of the wings. If you ever have trouble drawing like a fantasy winged character, think of the wing as just an arm, and all the spines are elongated fingers that hold the webbing. I'm just blocking them in so that I can pick them out and highlight them more easily. They're the wrong color, but all I care about at this moment is just getting the shape down. Then once I have it, I just sort of adjust it as needed. And here I'm adding a little bit of back glow to the wings, because I wanted to, I'm sure I'll do it in a minute here, I want to add some veins. Here we go. I googled an image of batwing veins or something like that, and they all extend basically from the armpit. Still doing a lot of the highlights with white on an overlay layer, and then I blend it in and merge the layer down. You can see that little gray square I made. That's just so I can eye drop the highlight color for her clothes when I want to go back to it. It will get deleted. I'm just going around hatching all the highlights in. A little tedious, but I like the way it looks a lot. And that brings us to the end. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions about anything that I skipped over. I added a little bit of color adjustments after the fact here. Anyway, hope you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.